gentlemen, to another installment of No Place Like Homaha. It has been a hot minute, but tonight it's going to be myself and Mike Love on the
Yeah,
mics.
because Nick doesn't love us,
Nick is
per usual.
out, in our personal lives, I guess. Mikey and I just got back from St. Louis, and Nick is on a boat, in quote unquote his own words. And he said he would be TBD on time recording tonight. So, we're going to done. First off,
He be liar
First off, congratulations to LSU as they take home the title. Didn't even need to
of
bring
best
in
college baseball team in the USA
2023
ever.
for
Best college
D1.
baseball team ever.
D1.
No, best college baseball team ever.
That's not even true. There's like
It is. You're telling me if you roll Paul Skeens out against every baseball champion this year, they don't win.
that's one game.
Paul Skeens for the win.
He was in fact the D1 player of the year, so I mean, I guess
Yeah,
we
and my
can.
man got a police escort back to his room.
Well, yeah, and he got called out by who was it? One kid who wanted him to date his mom, which was, I mean, baller move on that kid's part. He's like trying to
Respect.
trying
Watch the
to pimp his
mom have
mom
like a
out.
dad. The mom's married or something happily
Just
for like 30
pimp
years.
him out. The dad's just like, what the hell? But
Yeah,
anyways,
well, honey, I guess you're single.
the first game for LSU Florida was pretty competitive, going into extra innings. However, the next two were not, as Florida donkey slapped LSU, and then LSU donkey slapped him back. Caglione having a horrible, I think all around his College World Series was not very good. The only time he really hit was when they were really piling it on against LSU, and his pitching performance was 1.1 innings,
Subpar.
6 runs, 6 earned runs.
Yeah, it was bad.
He walked the bases loaded, and then they took him
Mm-hmm.
out, and the other guy
Mm-hmm.
gave up a grand slam.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't he? Or
Mm-hmm.
no, wasn't a grand
Mm-hmm.
slam. It was Tommy White started hitting him in because they left him at third, so all those runs went to Caglione. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. True statement. True statement.
Anyways, so can now look at the because I'm not even gonna look at the all tournament team because that was BS.
It
It
was
is just
all
like
LSU
it was LSU and
and two
Florida.
Florida players.
Yeah. I was like, so no Wake Forest, no TCU,
Correct. Both
no
bad.
like any of the other teams. Just like no.
Correct. The other six teams were bad.
So yeah, even though Wake Forest won that first game against LSU. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
love it. Okay. So just diving right into then our awards for the D1 players of the year. Nick will probably not be back until 10:30, so it's too late. Um, I'm not going to text him back until later. You can do with that what you will, Mikey. But
Didn't see it.
right-handed, so we're just going to start, I guess, directly at the top. The overall D1 player of the year, however, was not the Golden Spikes winner. It was Paul Skeens was the D1 player of the year. Again, that man just pitching off the charts. The pressure never got to him. They didn't need to bring him in that last game, but he still warmed up just in case. But looking at our awards, so for right-handed pitchers, we had Paul Skeens, Rhett Lauder out of Wake Forest, and Tanner Hall out of Southern Miss. Then looking at left-handed pitchers, again, I think we should kind of if you want to whip out some stats, you can, but
No.
I'm just gonna pound right to him. I guess since I got the list. Left-handed pitchers: Hagen Smith out of Arkansas, Jow Whitman out of Kent State, and Lucas Gordon out of Texas. Jow, I didn't even know there was a name. So
Yeah. The Lucas Gordon kid was actually pretty stinking good this year.
Lucas Gordon was good for
Um,
Texas.
I believe in the Super though, he was in and he didn't. It's not necessarily his fault that they lost the Super because he was still pitching in that walk off.
They
But
just lost the ball. Let's be real.
yeah, like he did his job, but like the loss still goes to him,
Mm,
unfortunately. But he was Big 12 Pitcher of the Year.
yes.
FYI.
And then relief pitcher, Andrew Walters of Miami, who was also a pretty decent stud on the mound. Again, that Miami team, like we've talked about before, still really young. I think if they really build up that base, they could be a contender for Omaha within the next few years. I mean, they made the regional past few years, but then got knocked out. All right, now
Yeah,
moving
the
on
new
to
East Carolina.
Fair or Dallas Baptist, either one,
No, don't you ever speak that poorly about Dallas Baptist. I swear.
or like Old Dominion, kind of like
Hey,
that. Catcher Kyle Teal out of Virginia. Again, that's not a real big surprise to anybody. The only other one I could have seen with his postseason performance is BT Ripel.
or Buster Posey, but yeah,
He's not in college anymore. First
comes back and
baseman,
plays here.
still has a year of eligibility. First baseman Nolan Schanuel, Schanuel out of Florida Atlantic.
Really,
I know it's not the Oral Roberts first baseman.
that
It's
dude
a big
was
surprise to
he
me.
was eh. I was kind of I can't think of the LSU guy right now.
Trey Morgan.
You know,
He might be on second.
turns the
Again,
quick.
we can go through the first team and second team. Second baseman JJ Weatherholt out of West Virginia, which
Mm-hmm.
again is a surprise that it's not Stanford's second baseman.
No, J.J. Weatherholt was a G,
He was pretty good.
and
Third
is projected, I
baseman.
think, to go top five. I
Oh,
think, didn't he?
Weatherholt.
I think
I thought
so.
he was
Or
a draft. He's
he
ineligible.
might
He's a
only be a
sophomore.
sophomore.
Yep, he's a draft ineligible sophomore.
You're a
Same with our
draft
next
ineligible.
one. Third baseman Tommy White out of LSU.
Mid.
Liability at third base.
Absolutely defensively. But
Shortstop.
goddamn, can that man hit the baseball?
Oh yeah, in clutch situations, he proceeded to not let the moment get to him and
The man
destroy
is Nick
baseballs.
Castellanos, but without bad events.
Good with good outcomes.
Yeah.
Anyways, shortstop Matt Shaw from Maryland, who that man he could
Yeah.
destroy some baseballs too.
Yeah.
Um,
Think about it. There weren't really any outstanding ones in the CWS.
Shortstops.
Yeah. Stanford, I kept mixing up Stanford. There was a kid named Bowser. I don't remember if he was short or second, which
I think he was short.
he was okay.
But yeah, I agree with you there. There wasn't many standout shortstops. There were some good defensive plays, but there wasn't like a guy that was like he was carrying the team. Um, Outfielders now. Again, no big surprise here, but Dylan Cruz. So first one.
Why? That dude's washed.
Alberto Rios, also
Dylan
from
Cruz, if you're
LSU.
listening, join the pod.
And Jonah Cox of Oral Roberts. He had, again, he kind of struggled.
He lost his hitting streak at the
He did.
CWS.
He
Poor
when
guy.
he
Or on
lost
base streak.
that,
Hitting or on base
yeah,
streak?
I think it was on base because I think he lost the hitting streak in the supers. But I think he just kind of went cold there. I don't know exactly. I mean, obviously trying to hit at that frequency, kind of struggle with it. But moving on to our designated hitter and utility player for our first team to finish up, both from Clemson. Billy Amick is designated hitter, and Caden Grice as a utility player. So there's that. Any questions, comments, concerns on the first team?
No.
I feel like there's no really big surprises out of that.
Who's the coach?
There was no coach mentioned. There's just team.
Lame.
I'd say. Okay, now moving on to the second team. These could be some guys that they kind of got glossed over because their team didn't have a very good season. But all around pretty good players. So right-handed pitcher Grant Rogers out of McNeese State. Nico Zeglin out of Long Beach State. Jacob Cravey, Samford, not Stanford, Samford. Jake Bloss out of Georgetown. Bobby Alcock
Really?
out of Gardner Webb. Connor Fenlong, Indiana State. Evan Crest, Jacksonville, Jackson Wells, Little Rock, and LeBaron Johnson out of Texas. Yep.
All right. I
Yeah.
can give you stats on and information about none of those guys,
Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like,
but
especially
still
with half of those
impressive.
teams, mm,
It's still
one, two.
impressive to be on there because you still have like you have what probably 200 D1
Well, this is
schools.
D1 right-handed pitchers. So not
Oh
only is it,
shit.
so it's like the roster. Half your
Yeah, so
roster
like
is pretty much pitchers.
you've got like 200 schools ish maybe. In each they probably carry what like 30 40 guys, 30 guys.
45, roughly.
I'm not mathing. That's way too many people. But that's a lot of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be very easy to just fill it all with like top 25 ranking, like
Right.
ranked teams and just take their kids.
But it's not looking at two. It's looking at the
So it's
season that they had. It's not
yeah,
saying like,
like
yeah, exactly.
it's good for these guys to get out there and like get their school on the map, but also like their name because
Mm-hmm.
you can have like a bad team or not a bad team, but like a bad season and still go in like fairly high in the baseball draft.
Right. Yeah, I feel like
Whereas
because yeah, you can find
like if
talent
you
anywhere.
like you could have come out of a small high school in like football and gone to a smaller college and you would just have to absolutely ball out
Well,
against
that
like
and like
and then people
size
will
is a
come in
factor
and
too.
well yeah so like it's good for these guys to be able to get recognized and get their school out there and stuff like that.
Right. So then moving to left-handed pitchers,
The
Omar
weirdos.
Melendez, Alabama State, Dominic Neiman, Central Connecticut State, Quinn Matthews, Stanford, Diego
That
Bear,
dude was lights out in the
Quinn
regional,
Quinn
super
Matthews.
regional. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see him in his CWS game though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what he did.
Diego Barrera, Loyola Marymount, and Josh
Loyola.
Hartle, Wake Forest.
Look, I'm in the forest.
Relief pitcher Cade Denton out of Oral Roberts, who he was
What's
great
Randy
coming out of
Johnson
their
look like?
bullpen. Um, I don't. I because he was the relief pitcher. He was the one that came in. I thought he was the closer.
I don't remember, bro.
Like he was the one that came in after him.
Oh,
I don't know for sure. That might be again. I might be wrong on that one. Um, Teddy Sharkey, Coastal
oh,
Carolina,
let's
and Mitchell
go.
Scott, Kent State. So Kent State had a pretty underrated ball club, honestly.
Can say represent
Catcher now. So moving into the
me.
position players. Luke Schleger, Maryland.
Yeah, I remember at the Big Ten championship. I don't remember if he did anything, but the dude was a good defensive catcher for sure.
Okay. And then Ben McCabe, Central Florida. Yeah, he was a name that came up once in a while. Um, First baseman. Wow, this is actually kind of a surprise. Jack Caglione, Florida. Sam Kula Zingham, Air Force. Kiko Romero, Arizona. Charlie Condon, Georgia. So no Trey Morgan in that one.
Yeah, but I don't like what's it basing it off of?
The regular season.
No, like like offensive
Oh,
stats.
just all around, I feel like whoever's the most competitive at that
Yeah,
position.
I feel like though
Because I feel like if Tommy White gets in there, it's more offensive.
Tommy White was just he was there the entire year. Like the dude had
Right.
90 some odd RBIs. I don't know if Trey Morgan.
Uh
I think he might. I don't think he was exquisite in the regular season.
yeah, and
I
that's
think
what I'm
in the
saying.
tournament is when things really got
Yeah.
turned on for him.
Because then Jack Caglione during the season, I mean, he had 31 home runs,
The dude was mashing nukes, and then he made it to
and then
the
he just made it here. I
CWS
mean,
and was
he
like,
did hit two.
"What is offense?"
He hit two, but they're in the same game, and it was when Florida was blowing them out 24-4.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess he just hit his cold spell
Haha,
near the end of the
can't
season.
count it. Potentially.
Anyways, second baseman, homegrown Max Anderson from Nebraska,
Mm-hmm.
Edric Felix, Florida Gulf Coast, and Travis Bazana out of Oregon State.
Yeah, Dirty Mike and the boys is legit.
Yeah, Max
Can
Anderson,
he get drafted this year?
he's stud muffin. Yes. Maybe. Did he go into college when it was the COVID year?
I don't know, dude. Do I need to look?
Anyways, so yeah, moving on. Third baseman Nick LaRusso of Maryland. I agree with that. He was mashing baseballs as well. And Jake Geloff of Virginia. So both of those
That dude
not
hit
huge surprises there.
bombs.
Yeah, not big surprises there. Geloff is definitely going to go in the draft this year. Just according to when, don't know. Shortstop, Jerron Williams out of Toledo, Sam Mongeli out of Sacred Heart, and Jacob Wilson from Grand Canyon, who again is another draft pick for this season. Possible draft pick. He's only a freshman, I believe. Don't know for sure. Don't quote me on that. Because we talked about him even at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, well, that's because he was on everybody's radar.
Well, yeah, not only that,
Because
but his dad
Grand
played
Canyon was,
pro.
well, yeah,
Canyon was
he
in
was
and
just
out of
murking
being in the
stuff.
top 25,
I
all that
don't
kind
know
of
if
stuff.
he is. I feel like he's only a sophomore.
Okay.
I don't know. We'll see.
Outfielders, Lawson Harrell out of Campbell, Wyatt Langford, Florida. Doesn't surprise me. Luke Keishel, Arizona State, and Cam Fisher, Charlotte. Cam Fisher was kind of underrated for that Charlotte team, and so was that Charlotte team in general, because I feel like they were pretty competitive within their regional.
Well, yeah, didn't
And
they push it to the final series against Tennessee, right?
yep. Looking ahead, then designated hitter Ethan Mann out of Dallas Baptist, and
Yeah.
utility player TJ Fontaine, San Diego State. Okay,
No.
third team.
TCU. Oh my God.
Yep, this will be the last team. Third team, left-handed pitchers, Connolly Early, Virginia,
Early?
Sean Sullivan, Wake Forest. Relief pitcher, uh, Danny Kerwin out of Ryder, Simon Miller, Texas San Antonio, Tyson Neighbors, Kansas State, Isaac Martinez, UC San Diego.
I know none of those guys.
All right. Yeah. I mean, the relief pitch, I don't.
But good. Congratulations.
Yeah. I mean, hats off to them. Catcher, Ryan Schnell out of Lamar, Cole Messina, South Carolina. Again, Lamar, too. They were
Lamar Jackson.
the little sneaky guys in those midweek games. They came in
Nigga,
there.
little snake.
Slow little snake. Okay, first baseman, Brock Vradenberg, Michigan State. He was the big first baseman. Didn't do fantastic in the Big Ten tournament, but pretty good player all around. Jeremiah Jenkins, Maine. And Longwell, Kent State. Nick Kurtz, Wake Forest. Anthony Martinez, UC Irvine. So yeah, that Wake Forest first baseman made it as well.
He's like 6'8" or whatever.
Yeah.
But he
The
hurt himself
big dude, yeah,
before
that hurt
again.
his, wasn't it ribs?
Yeah.
So he couldn't swing it.
Mm-hmm.
So they brought in that freshman, and he provided in this big tough situations. Second baseman, Brock Rodden, Wichita State, and Rock Riggio, Oklahoma State. I do like Rock Riggio. I think he's got some character and personality to him that, makes the game fun. Third baseman, Brock Wilkin out of Wake Forest. Austin Deming, Brigham Young. Charlie Pagliarini, Fairfield. Shortstop, Bryce Matthews, Nebraska. Drew Cowley, Oregon. Kevin Dubrule, Army. and Bryce Arnold Campbell.
Hell yeah.
Outfielders Grayson Tatro, Albanine Christian, Ethan Petrie, South Carolina, Nolan Schubart, Oklahoma State, Shane Lewis, Troy. Designated hitter Keaton Anthony out of Iowa, and utility player Ethan Bates out of Louisiana Tech. And of course, as mentioned before, the collegiate baseball All American player of the year is Paul Skeens. Listed as the top 10, Paul Skeens, Cam Fisher, just like we talked about earlier, at number 2, out of Charlotte. Nolan Shanuel out of Florida Atlantic. Nathaniel Tate out of East Tennessee. Jackson Wells out of Little Rock. Tyler Davis out of Mississippi State Athletics. I don't know if that's. Is it just Mississippi State? I don't know. It's what it says. Mitchell Scott, Kent State. Austin Domingue, Brigham Young. Jerron Williams, Toledo. And Rhett Lauder, Wake Forest.
That was the what?
Top 10
Top 10 what?
collegiate baseball players.
And Dylan Cruz is nowhere on that?
Mm-mm.
Same with Wyatt Langford?
Yep. I don't know what that's based off of, but
Okay. I find that very interesting
yeah, I don't know.
because you've got picks 1 through 3 right there, and Skeens, Langford, and Cruz, essentially, or
Mm.
theoretically. That's interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what that was all about,
Hmm.
but that is our top 10.
But congratulations to everybody
Yes.
who's earned his accolade. You know, put it on your LinkedIn as well. Kind of flex that on to your future employers.
I'm sad that BT Ripel didn't get it because then he would be like, yeah, I'm in finance because I chose to not go. I mean, I feel like he could get drafted, honestly.
He still can.
Yeah, if he wants
Um,
to. I
I
just
feel like
like how
that's
they
not. He doesn't want to. I feel like that's just kind of a slap in the face, like another. That's like all the times when a kid's gonna go pro in football and a team drafts him anyways. Like when someone drafted Kyler Murray knowing that he was gonna go play in the NFL. It almost feels like that's a slap in the face to a collegiate kid who could have been given a shot.
Well, that's fair, and I mean as well. But I just think like maybe they do that, and then they can offer them, and then if they change their mind, then you can still sign somebody else as free agent. But I just like how they were like the men's leagues in Tampa, Florida,
In
are
Tampa.
bidding on who's going to get the first pick for him to come join their team.
Hmm.
Let's get him to Omaha,
Premier League of the Midwest, baby.
Premier
Let's
League,
roll.
baby. Um, but yeah, that's about it. I mean, otherwise, we'll be kind of now going into our downtime. So we're not going to be recording. I mean, obviously, this didn't come out super early, but that's the schedule and the way it goes. We're hoping to
Gonna
again,
take a little breaky.
yeah, get it. We're gonna hopefully do that. Get into some more interviews. Kind of work through the off season, just like we did last off season. We'll try to keep you updated too on the transfer portal, which I will now try to find really quick. Because I know there's already a lot of mixing around, finding new
What's his name?
coaches, all
The
that kind of
Burns
stuff.
guy from Tennessee. He's
Chase
already
Burns
entered it
enter the transfer portal.
with word of him potentially going to TCU,
Yes,
which would be interesting.
trying to
It's
find.
also still like super early, but
That
like
is true.
decisions do need to be made fairly quickly because they're gonna have to enroll into classes
Hmm.
here super soon.
Well, that's not entirely true since they're a spring sport. They could do it in the spring.
Well, yeah, but from an academic standpoint, in the fall, like, why would you want to practice in the fall with one team when you're going to go to another? Like, that just
Yeah.
doesn't even make sense. It's almost like NFL, like you don't miss OTAs. I mean, you do, you kind of do, but if
Hmm.
you're like holding out for contract stuff, but Like that's just where everything gets implemented, like bunt defenses and signs and philosophies. Like if they were to transfer in at the beginning of January, that's just a lot for them to try to figure out, and you're potentially hurting the team.
Mhm. So in transfer news, um, Texas
Tommy
A&M
White
got
is also
the
transferring. I'm
again
kidding.
wins
Looks like
the
I got
Natty
one
and
of
is
those
like bye.
LSU. Too
I mean
easy.
in
On to
in
the next one.
softball, Jordan Ball, the pitcher for Oklahoma that just won the WCWS, she transferred to Nebraska.
Nebraska.
Yeah, to give some more attention to Midwest baseball. Um, so she's like, "There's a lot of talent in Nebraska. We need to keep it here." And so she did that, and so there's been a lot of hype around it, and we'll see how she does in Big Ten play. I'm figuring she'll carry over what she does already. But looking at Texas A&M landed the MAC Sports Player of the Year. Third baseman Charlie Pagliarini that we talked about earlier. Um, and yeah, there's a bunch of obviously assistant coaches getting moved around.
Yeah, but that happens, I feel like, very frequently,
Yeah,
especially with head coaches getting canned. It's usually assistants from,
they want to
other
bring in
conferences.
their own
It's
staff.
kind of annoying when they don't, especially if like Texas. I think Texas fired their or Alabama. They fired their coach mid-season. The assistant came in, did a good job as interim, brought them into a host. They were a host site for a super, and then they just gave the job to somebody else.
Yeah, I think the only other big one that I want to talk about, well, two things. First of all, Jello shot challenge. The total number, like the money wise, what LSU alone
It's
bought in
above
Jello shots.
350.
It was $324,040 alone. And I
Money.
found out that the Rocco's, the place that does it, they're donating
Yeah,
most
they
of the
donate every
profits
Jello shot
to the
charities.
yep, so it's to the food banks of the area, and then they give out um again to the where the team is located to those food banks of America. Um, but other than transfer news, the only other thing for TCU baseball as well, they're trying to get Chase Burns, but they also got um, the Wichita State two-way standout Peyton Toll. Um, Toll struck out 97 in 85.2 innings pitched and hit 311 with 13 home runs and 50 RBIs.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who's come from where next year. And then like a lot of them might not even be talked about. Like we only know about Chase Burns
Right.
because of him being,
Being a
you
standout
know,
there. And you're gonna get guys that transfer in. So like Blaze Brothers for Oral Roberts. He came from a
mhm.
D2 Northeastern. Um, so I mean, you could get some people like that just all of a sudden realize they can play at the D1 level,
Yeah,
transfer
you can
in,
get some dudes for sure.
and do it, or JUCOs or
Mhm.
wherever. So yeah, we can stay up to date with obviously the big names if they're
As
moving
much as we
out.
know.
Yeah, like last year the big one was Tommy White. Remember talking
Yeah,
about
we're
that.
not tapped in just yet.
But again, that's pretty much all we got for this episode. Just kind of wrapping up the baseball season. It was a great College World Series. Um, Great players all around. Eagerly awaiting the draft now to kind of see who goes where, so then we can get those statistics for how many. I feel like a lot more college kids are going to get drafted this year. Again, you say that pretty much every year than high schoolers, but we'll
Well,
see.
this year especially because you have so many coming out of the. I think this is the last year.
Big
Like this
teams.
should get rid of the COVID years, and if not, there's next year, and that should be it.
So I
One
think
this
the
next year
last,
or one
this
more.
next year should be the last year because it's 2020. If they had come in as freshmen and they take that fifth year, it should be
It'd be 2 years then.
2024.
Well, maybe
So
I don't know. Math is
4
hard.
years. I mean, granted, they can also do some ridiculous stuff because some guys end up playing there for 6 years. So who knows?
True.
So either this next year or the year afterwards would be the last year where it's like COVID stuff. So perfect. All right, you got anything for the people?
Yeah, I also like to let everyone know that I did predict a champion from the get go. I'm better than you and Nick. Suck on that.
I just could never support it, and they caught fire when they needed to. And their bullpen decided to turn it on and be unhittable for 13 innings.
Get wrecked.
I mean, we knew Paul Skeens was him, but then their day 3 and day 4 starters started doing phenomenal. And their bullpen, again, just decided not to crap the bed.
Get wrecked, bro.
I don't know.
Get wrecked.
That's baseball. But
that's called being a G, like I am.
Again, they are better. So I just want to hear something though. Say that they're better than Old Dominion.
No.
But they are. They're the champions. You said that they're the winner.
Alleged.
They were the winner.
Alleged.
So they were better.
No. Paul Skeens is better, but that's it.
So no, not Dylan Cruz.
He's iffy. You saw it first. He's not in the top 10 players. You read the list.
Okay.
I didn't make the list, bro.
That's about all we got for you. Again, if you're already here on the No Place Like a Homaha channel, please like and subscribe.
Thanks for being a G.
Yeah, well, let us know what you want to see kind of in this off season. If you want to see us change up some stuff, we're trying.
If you want us to kick Nick out because he doesn't love us and didn't show up enough, you want us to get a new guy in here.
Damn, I don't think you can say that.
I can. I did.
No,
I did.
We love Nick. We love to have him on the pod.
Well, apparently he's on a boat. Doesn't love us enough. So.
But yeah, if you're here,
get Audrey on here.
Comment. I don't know. Maybe she won't give us unfactual information. Who knows?
That's probably not. That's probably well, maybe I don't know.
But again, we're gonna try to get some interviews coming around here again. Hopefully, have a good lineup for you. If you have anybody that you kind of want to see or you have a connection somewhere, feel free to reach out. You can follow us on Twitter and TikTok at Homaha Pod. We are unfortunately not on the hub because Nick hates us and that access.
Again. I'm telling you, we might need to look for a new guy.
Again, our partners, Cronio Media. Again, one part of that company. Again, it's mostly been run by Cron, but one of the co-founders of it, Brent Yoder, had a newborn son recently. So congratulations to him.
And I think his wife.
And his wife, yes.
His name we will leave off of the internet.
Yes. But yeah, congratulations to them and their beautiful baby boy. And speaking of sponsorships, you can go check out Shank It Golf and Dubby for 10 to 15% off your order using code all capitals, all one word, Cronio Media. And Cronio Media, CRONYOMEDIA.
Notice how we don't have Flintstone gummies yet? That's because Nick.
We do not have Flintstone gummies. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate because I feel like it's the most important thing that a growing boy needs. So, anyways, we will catch you later. Again, we'll kind of spread out our release dates and all that kind of stuff because we're reaching that downtime before the end of the season, all this kind of stuff. But as soon as we get content, put it out there. Got you guys. All right. See you later.